really quick, before this video starts, everyone, we attempted to upload a Eyes of Wakanda review yesterday, and it got copyright blocked. So we are currently trying to work that out. But yeah, so that is why this is episode 26 and not 25, because the Eyes of Wakanda episode was supposed to be episode 25. So trying to work out that dispute. I might just end up re-uploading it and editing some of the stuff so that we can get it out. But if we can get the dispute reversed, then we'll just keep that video up. But it will be coming place after this one.
You're
So
not
just
a
wanted,
real YouTuber unless you get a video blocked by Disney.
yeah,
So
that,
now we're real YouTubers.
yep, yep. It's definitely a part of the path.
Yeah.
But yeah, enjoy the video. 3, 2, 1. What is up, y'all? It is episode 26 of the Sci-Fi Zone, and today's destination is going to be taking us back to the DC universe as we're going to be discussing the newly announced show for the DC universe, Booster Gold. Well, I'm gonna clarify. It was actually announced over 2 years ago, but after 2 whole years of waiting to find out how exactly he's going to be working within the DCU, we finally have an answer, and none other than David Jenkins, as he is designated as the writer of the pilot episode of the newly announced TV series. I'm only familiar with his work on the show People of Earth, which, conceptually was very interesting and also pretty funny, which, are two things that I would really want to have for this Booster Gold show. Interesting and funny. Like, I'm going to need that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
are, are,
100%.
are you familiar with any of his work, CJ?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't, to my knowledge, seen a lot of the work that he's done.
Mhm.
Although I have heard a lot of stuff about him. As soon as I heard that he was going to be directing it, I saw that a lot of people were talking about his show "Our Flag Means Death," which has
Oh, yeah.
gotten a lot of high praise. It
Mhm.
currently has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, critic and audience score. So very beloved show all around. And so I think this is definitely going to be put in good hands.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, they have been very specific on who they are picking to approach these projects, and they are putting a lot of these projects in good hands. I mean, James Gunn is probably the guy you want for a comic book movie. I mean,
Yeah,
his run right now is generational.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we saw what he was able to do with Superman, and that was a very like comic book vibe type of movie.
Yeah.
And he, like you said, this Booster Gold show was announced in 2023, back when James Gunn had mentioned his or introduced his Gods and Monsters theme for the next span of movies and shows. And it seems like they have a at least a 5 year, maybe 10 year plan set out for what they're going to be doing with the DCU in the future. So hopefully it's going to be everything that they want, and I hope everything comes to fruition.
Totally agree. And I do want to mention that Booster Gold has only been greenlit for the pilot episode specifically. But
Yeah.
I am willing to bet my last dollar, which is not a lot, but I am willing to bet my last dollar that this show will be greenlit for the entire series and honestly more seasons in the future. And especially with some of the names that are being thrown around to play this character, which we will also review later on in this video. But before we do that, I think it's important for us to get into the history of Booster Gold and our familiarity with him and what we expect to see from him and how he could possibly tie into the broader DCU. So, CJ, let me ask you something. When you first saw Booster Gold, despite his name sounding like a premium phone service provider, what kind of character did he seem like to you initially? And also, after researching the character, did you come to a similar conclusion?
Um, so initially, I would say he seemed like a very fun character to me. I think that, I mean, it's kind of an elementary word, but I feel like he seems like a really fun character. And as I, like some of the pictures I've seen and things that I've read about him, he seems like a really charming guy. And I feel like that's kind of the deal with him. He's I don't know if brash is the right word, but he's more fame focused than some of
Oh, yeah.
the other superheroes in the DCU. So I think that he would really be able to bring a great dynamic to the DCU that some other characters maybe don't.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the more I researched it, the more it seemed like that was going to be the case. He's had like a lot of great interactions with many superheroes in the past. You mentioned like he was part of the Justice League. He's had some great interactions with Blue Beetle to the point where they actually got like their own spin-off series as well, Blue and Gold, or Gold and Blue. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was
The
so.
dynamic duo.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, man, I'm really excited about this character, and I think that there's been a lot of names, like you mentioned, who could possibly be playing him. So I'm excited to see how this character comes to the big screen.
Yeah, me too. So let's get into his origin. So he first appeared in self-titled Booster Gold issue number 1 in 1986. And he's from the future. Pretty crazy. He is from the future. And he is a failed superstar football player. And he is a failed degenerate gambler. And
Yeah,
after his multiple failed attempts to launch different careers for himself and also being caught in gambling ties, he finds himself at a job working at a museum. And he comes across some 20th century superhero costumes, which keep in mind that's like 500 or 600 years in the past for him at this point. So pretty dated for him. But what's really interesting is these are not just Walmart get up costumes. These are costumes from the actual time period from these superheroes where they came from, and they have the actual gear with the actual powers embedded with them. So, in an attempt to revitalize his life back with purpose, because he's already basically failed at everything he's tried at this point, he grabs all sorts of different gear and creates his own costume from these separate pieces and uses a time travel sphere to travel back in time to the 20th century as a new and modern superhero known as initially Gold Star, before later becoming Booster Gold, along with flying with a mini robot named Skeets that I would say is comparable to Falcon's Red Wing.
yeah. I think that's a good comparison for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm really intrigued by his origin story. I feel like I haven't really
Mm-hmm.
seen a take on like a superhero like this before, at least that I know of, like someone like from the future coming back to the past to basically like relive the glory days of like what the superheroes his favorite superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he's got like the inspiration from Superman and Batman to become a superhero in his own right, sort of in the same way that Kamala Khan did in Miss Marvel, because she was like a massive Carol Danvers fan and loved Captain Marvel, and that kind of got her into her own right, being
Yeah.
a superhero. So yeah, I like I'm really intrigued by this Booster Gold character, and I think we can get some really fun interactions with him and some of the modern DCU characters and stuff like that. Like you said, he was a degenerate gambler. He was gambling on sports, and not only on sports, he was betting on his own games, which
Yeah.
any baseball fans know that you can't be doing that really. Maybe we'll talk about some of those guys in some future episodes, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I feel like he is a very different prototype of a character
Mm-hmm.
than some of the other characters we've seen in the DCU. And I know that this new era of the DCU is probably going to be showing some more human side of characters. I think Superman did a really good job with that. So yeah, I mean, I keep saying it, but I'm really excited to see what happens with him.
Yeah, me too.
I wonder if maybe we're gonna see any like butterfly effect or anything like that from him, like going back in the past and changing something that will like potentially change things in the future for him.
Mhm.
You know, like that whole thing where like if you go back in time and like kill your great grandpa or something, like are you gonna ever be born? So like how will you go back and kill in the first? It's like a
Yeah.
whole paradox. So I'm really interested to see
Mhm.
how they play with that a little bit.
Yeah. They could just take the MCU approach and just be like, well, branch reality.
Yeah, they could do some multiverses.
Yep. And Booster Gold does do a lot of time travel stories.
Yeah.
In fact, one of Booster Gold's most impactful storylines was, in fact, the death of Blue Beetle. So, in that story, after Blue Beetle's death, Booster Gold is obviously pretty upset. They were best buds. His friendship with Blue Beetle is one of the key relationships that he has in the comics. I mean, they're both guys with no powers when they're outside of their suits. I mean, however, technically, depending on which Blue Beetle you're talking about, because the Jaime Reyes variant has the Scarab origin, which makes the suit fused to him. So theoretically, he's never out of the suit, but you get my point. They're neither of them are A-list superheroes. They have pretty extroverted personalities, and ultimately, they also just had each other's backs when nobody else did. So, because of these reasons, he tries to go back in time because he can time travel to reverse the death of Blue Beetle, but then he is faced with the consequences of those actions and has to make the hard decision of risking like the annihilation of the universe potentially or finding ways to have to move forward with the loss of his best friend. And I think that's definitely a story that is worth a freaking movie because that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Like going on a whole time travel journey just to try and save your best friend, like
Yeah.
everybody would watch that. Everyone
Yeah.
who has a best friend or who's lost a best friend, like, and everyone has at some point in their life, so everyone would like totally relate to that movie, especially considering that these characters, are typically not seen or not noticed, and they want to get the attention of other people, you know what I mean, and they're trying to do whatever they can to just like get other people's approval. And like losing someone who also understands that and understands you and has your back, like I feel like those are elements that would really like tie people to something like this. So hopefully the show can establish Blue Beetle to an extent, and then maybe that storyline can be carried on later in a movie.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I completely agree. I think that'd be great. I really hope we get some Blue Beetle and Booster Gold interactions
Yeah.
soon, you know. And I hope that they do. I hope that the eventual show that comes out does have like a good mix between Booster Gold, like in his 25th century, where he is like before he gets his powers, and like back in the 21st century, and with like Superman and Batman in their time period. I hope there's a good mix between the two different time periods, and I think they could do something really cool with that.
Yeah, I think there will be, and I think they will definitely use that to like world build as well. I think it's a great opportunity to do so.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Especially considering Booster Gold playing football, he played football at Gotham University. So we know that I believe it was confirmed that Gotham and Metropolis, right, are like close to one another. Like I think driving distance within one another. So maybe we get like some some hints or like some references towards Batman, Superman. Maybe we get some teasers at what could come in the future. But yeah, I think there's a lot of really fun potentials for this show.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it would be really cool to try and sprinkle in some hints, throughout the show, but still like be able to focus on Booster Gold as it is his show.
Yeah,
Like kind of like how the Fantastic Four did, like teasing Latveria.
yeah,
Just a little sprinkle,
yeah. Just remind
to
people
the
he's
back
there.
of your head.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Yeah, and one of Booster Gold's major feats is saving the president. So I feel like that could definitely be something that he does to like garner everybody's trust in the show and like
Yeah,
kind of put himself on the radar, which is also the event that gives himself the name Booster Gold because when the president asks him, "What's your name?" He's nervous. He means to say Gold Star, but he accidentally says Booster Gold. And he's like, "Well, I said it on live TV. I guess we're just gonna roll with it."
yeah. I said it to the president. He's gonna be calling me that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that Booster Gold is the one who has like the story in the comics where he saves the president, because we've talked about how he's kind of a bit of a outlier from some of the other superheroes in general and like what
Yeah.
they kind of stand for. So for him to be the one who, like, despite his flaws, is the one to be able to save the president, like that's something that a lot of the Justice League can't really say,
Mm-hmm.
unless you consider like saving the world part of saving the president, which
Mm-hmm.
works too. But Booster Gold like directly like saves the president, which is
Yeah.
definitely a badge of honor for him to have.
Yeah. Although, but since he's from the future, he had the information to like kind of like
Yeah,
just butt his way in,
yeah, just
You know what I
insert
mean?
himself.
So like it just depends on honestly how you view it, like is it cheating or is that just his power?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that kind of like push and pull with some of the members of the Justice League. Like some
Mm-hmm.
people kind of like praising him for what he did, and others like kind of having a problem with the way that he did it.
Mm-hmm. And also another fun little fact about Booster Gold as well. He gave Doomsday his name.
Mm,
Yeah, he
wow.
gave Doomsday his name in the comics. When Doomsday showed up, he said he is Doomsday as like an
Mm,
event, like his presence is, and then that name ended up sticking with him.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool.
So yeah, since this is gonna be a show, I would imagine the stakes are gonna be a bit more grounded, despite obviously there being time travel. So I feel like it would be cool for them to dive into how he's able to do time travel, but also
Mm,
still not exactly smart on actually trying to become a superhero. You know what I mean? Because a lot of
yeah.
people don't take him seriously. Like in one episode of Justice League International, like a kid runs up to him thanking him, but calls him Green Lantern. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And he's like, Green Lantern's green. Do I look green?
That's
He
my
wants
suit is gold.
yeah, he wants people to recognize his name, say his name, give him praise, validation. Like that's what he looks for.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And like I like how you mentioned that, because while he does have the advantage in terms of like this technology that he's gotten from his work and how he has the resources to turn himself into a great superhero, but if you don't have like the mindset for it and you don't have the personality required to get there, then it's going to be a lot more difficult. Kind of like I feel like I've mentioned this show a couple times, unrelated, but like Ironheart with the Hood,
Mm-hmm.
Mephisto gives Parker the resources to get everything he wants. He doesn't give him everything he wants. He gives him the chance to do it.
Yeah.
So like it's really up to you and how you handle it and what you do with your resources to figure out the end game.
Yeah. As Superman's Earth father, Pa Kent, said, it's your actions that define you.
Yep.
So yeah, and if you don't have the right mindset and you're not doing the right things, people are gonna see that and make those judgments about you.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
And speaking of Superman, it's out. It's doing great. And I feel like it would make some sort of sense to have some sort of tie-in or reference to it.
Yeah. 100%.
And one group that I found in the comics while I was doing some research that has history with not only Superman but Booster Gold is a group named the 100 or the 1000, depending on how they're feeling that day.
Oh. Okay.
So they are a crime syndicate that delves into the political corruption and tech theft in Metropolis. And I feel like this is perfect for the universe that James Gunn has already set up. And Booster Gold is also a tech heavy character. So I feel like having those two go against each other would kind of make sense. You know?
Yeah. Totally. I think that could work really well. I think that could fit into the universe that they're kind of building with this new DC chapter.
Yeah. And the 100 obviously has experience in street crime, but they are also involved in high tier politics as well. And Superman typically has more history with the 100 than the 1000. But James Gunn can obviously adapt things differently, make it work for the story. But
Yeah. Totally.
yeah. So, we could have Booster Gold trying to stop them. Maybe perhaps in the beginning he can deal with more of a street level threat to try and establish himself, and then work up to that. Maybe for some reason the 1000 are like, let's kill the president. So then he's like, well, he stops the president, and then that's how he gets his name.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I could see something like that for sure. And there's, this isn't like the Booster Gold is not the next project that's going to come out for the DCU. There are other projects in between that are coming out. We have a new episode or a new season of Peacemaker later this month. The Green Lantern show is supposed to come out early 2026. So there's definitely a lot more building that the DCU can do. And by the time that this Booster Gold show comes out, they're going to have a lot to play with.
Yeah, 100%. And the reason,
1000%.
yeah, nice. And one thing they could do also is in the comics, the reason the 100 or the 1000, I'm just going to refer to them as the 100 from now on.
Sure.
So the reason the 100 and the Booster Gold get involved in the first place is because Booster Gold is obviously doing a bit of crime stopping stuff, and he's becoming more and more of a nuisance to them, basically, and gaining more public attention and just disrupting their business dealings and stuff like that. So they try and send hits out to him, and maybe over time he has to try and work along stopping crimes that he knows are going to happen while dealing with crimes that are happening to him on the spot that he's not anticipating, and he has to try and work between both.
Wow, that is a really good point. I never even like considered that that's going to be a dynamic of it, because he doesn't exist in the past until he goes back into the past. So they're gonna, and if when he's gonna be involved with this much crime, there are gonna be some things happening to him too. But since he hasn't lived in the past and he's experiencing it for the first time, he doesn't know what is gonna happen to him, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. Yeah, that is a really good point.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, so maybe as things get more serious and he stops like the big threat at the end of the show, perhaps maybe it is the 100 or the 1000, and since I have history with Superman, maybe Booster Gold for the final one, this is one that he was able to like know ahead of time. Like he set everything up perfectly, and he's going to execute this perfectly, and like it's going to go great, and this is where he's going to really establish himself. And then Superman just shows up at the end as a little cameo, and he's like, how are you able to stop this? I was not able to think of something. And he's like, I'm Booster Gold, baby.
Yeah.
Superman's like, I know it sounds kind of funny, but you want to join the Justice Gang?
Dude, honestly, I would love that. I would really like that ending. I think that could set up a lot of really fun stuff in the future. I feel like we're gonna be getting a Justice League movie at some point in the future.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think that could be a great way to like build up hype and tie it into that for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be the Justice Gang. Like maybe they could lead up to Justice League International, because in the comics he is one of the leaders of that. So
true, that's a good point. Yeah,
they got a lot of stuff they can do here.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So with all of this in mind, we need to get into the fan casts. Who could be playing this master time traveler but lackadaisical superhero?
Yeah, man, there's been a lot of fan casts. I've heard a lot of names. A lot of people want a lot of different people.
Yeah. I'd say one of the biggest ones is you.
Yeah. Yep. Put me in there. Yep.
Yeah.
Booster Gold. It's me.
Want to just like go back and forth? I say a name, you say a name.
Yeah, let's do it.
We do like 3 or 4.
Sure.
All right. So I'll start out with an MCU name. Someone from the MCU who could be coming back for a new role. Now, I know this isn't exactly likely to happen, but he is pretty fit for the character, and that is none other than Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, coming back to play Booster Gold. Imagine that.
Wow, that would be really fun. I had heard his name as one of the guys that people have been wanting. There's been a lot of excitement around him playing Booster Gold. I think he could fit that role perfectly.
Yeah, me too. I feel like people kind of view him in a similar light right now as Pedro Pascal. You know, like
Mm,
he's a good actor. He's got the range and chops for it, but you see him everywhere.
yeah, 100%, totally.
And I don't know if Chris Pratt is also down to do another lead sci-fi role for another 10 years or more. So, you know, if he got it, I wouldn't be mad, but I just don't think it's necessarily likely.
Yeah, yeah, maybe not, but I mean, if he did, like having Chris Pratt in a role like that for the DCU, like that would be huge, huge for the franchise. Absolutely,
Yeah. I mean, and he could definitely hold his own as a lead for sure.
totally. Yeah. Um, uh, Somebody else that I had heard people clamoring about. Uh, he is another guy from the MCU actually, and that is Will Poulter.
Mm-hmm.
I think Will Poulter could be great in this role. I think he would be a lot of fun. I feel like I enjoy his characters that I see him play. He was in Guardians Volume 3. He was in We're the Millers like 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
way long ago. He was in Midsommar.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in like Maze Runner. That was the first thing I saw him in.
Yeah, he
So,
was also in The Bear as well.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
He was also in Death of a Unicorn
yeah.
that came out recently, and that character type I feel like is pretty similar to what Booster Gold has, like personality wise. Like, you know, like he is arrogant. He does come from a rich background, so he does have a little like a sense of entitlement, and
Hmm.
any kind of like disregards his like the consequences of his actions a little bit because he feels like he's justified for almost everything he does, and he deserves what he feels he's going to be getting out of what he does. So he could definitely channel some of that performance into that for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. I would like to see him like be a lead of a TV show like that. I think it
Yeah.
would be a really good opportunity for him to establish himself a bit more. Not that he isn't established. I
Mhm.
mean, he's arguably an A-lister at this point, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's definitely like I don't. I feel like actors don't really have like a prime necessarily, but like he's definitely like either in his prime or like about to get to his prime.
Yeah.
Like he's there's a lot that he can do.
Mm-hmm. Another character that I think, or another actor that I think could be really good for this role is an actor named Billy Magnuson. Have you ever heard of him?
I haven't.
So he's mostly played similar characters to Booster Gold type characters, you know, cocky, confident, charming, but also not the smartest. But he also does have a lot of range, and he has shown that he can tap into a lot of different types of performances. Just some fun roles to note here. He's played Rapunzel's prince in Into the Woods. From the movie Game Night, he played Ryan. He brought a different girl every night, and he knew like almost nothing about them, and every girl that he brought was smarter at the games that they were playing than he was. It was so funny. He was also in the James Bond sequel No Time to Die. He also made appearances in The Many Saints of Newark, The Big Short, Bridge of Spies. He's got a lot of good credits, and he's also been on many TV shows, a lot of different genres, and he's also even had performances on the stage as well. And also, he was in an episode of Black Mirror that I watched a bit recently that I was a really big fan of. And I saw this video by the YouTuber named Nando V Movies. Great channel, check him out. He's awesome. And when he mentioned this guy, he said that one of the traits that he feels should be with Booster Gold is that he should have a punchable face. And this guy, while he is charming, he does also have a punchable face. So I feel like that is a really funny perspective to have, but I feel like it definitely would be a good part to have to go with his character. Like as good and charming as he is, you also just want to punch the crap out of him.
Yeah, I think that yeah that could really bring a good element to the character. I think that's definitely. I feel like they're going to be looking for that when they're casting him. And apparently, it's we didn't mention this, but apparently it's already been confirmed who's playing him. He's already been casted, I guess. It hasn't been announced who's playing him, but he has been casted. So maybe one of these names that we're mentioning is someone who's been casted as him. So um, I'm really really intrigued by that. But yeah, I think that could be a really good
Mhm.
a really good guy to play him. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a guy, but they haven't said who the guy is.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. They're just they're just playing with us. They're just
Why
making
even
us wait.
tell us then?
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Yeah.
don't leave me in the dark just to give me a shadow. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, we're gonna this video is gonna get released, and then a couple hours later, James Gunn is gonna confirm who casted it, and we're gonna be completely wrong the whole time.
Yeah, I'm just
He's
gonna.
just waiting for
I'll
us.
just delete the video. Yeah. All right. Give us your next guy.
So I think another guy who could play this character very well is another guy that I've heard a lot of hype about online, someone that people want to play this character, and that's Glenn Powell. I think Glenn Powell could be very good as this character.
Yeah.
Another guy who, good looking guy, but I would very punchable face as well. I think
Yeah.
personally, I think he's been a great actor for a while now. He's been in
Oh yeah.
some huge projects. He was in Top Gun Maverick, obviously. He was great
Hmm.
in that. Recently, he was in Twisters. He was in Hidden Figures. He's been all over the place. He's been around for a long time, and it seems like everything that he plays a role in gets more traction and gets a little more hype around it because of who he is, you know. And I feel like you could say that about several of these names we've mentioned. Obviously,
Hmm.
Chris Pratt would bring a lot of hype around it too, but something about Glenn Powell playing this character, I think seeing him in this superhero role, this kind of like cocky, like asshole, like outlier kind of superhero, I
Hmm.
think seeing him could in this role could be great.
Yeah. I mean, I think you said it perfectly. You know, personality wise, he was smug. He was confident, punchable, but at the same time, he had an element of capability. You know what I mean? He was able at the end of the day to get the job done when he needed to.
Yeah,
And I feel
100%.
like that should be something that they have into this character as well. Like, he fails, but at the times when he needs to most, he's there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah. He definitely has the physicality for the role too. I mean,
totally.
have you seen those shots of him on the beach? I mean, like I know I know that they go through specific diet training for those scenes,
Mhm.
but that dude was cut.
He's got that body yaddy yaddy, as they say.
And everyone probably recognizes him from his movie with Sydney Sweeney, but I remember Glenn Powell as Long Fingered Boy from Spy Kids back in the day.
Wow.
Just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I remember Glenn Powell
This is deep
as
cut.
Trader One from The Dark Knight Rises, who got rocked by Bane. Yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No,
Wow.
but
Was he
seriously,
really in Spy Kids? Is that true?
yeah. That if you go on his IMDb or Wikipedia, that's like his first like official big role back in 2003,
That was in two. Wow. That's crazy. That's
which is
crazy.
actually kind of pretty crazy because it's Spy Kids 3D came out in 2003. Like that had to be
Oh, that was
pretty
the.
crazy coincidence.
Wow. That is a great movie, by the way. Spy Kids 3D. Off topic. Super good movie.
Yeah. I've arguably watched that movie more than I have the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies when I was growing up.
Damn.
Because I had the 3D glasses, bro. I could just go
Yeah.
home after school, throw on the glasses, and have a trip. It was
And
crazy.
you're in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
It's like a multiverse. You're sending yourself to a multiverse.
literally, yeah. It's crazy. But with respect, obviously, to Glenn Powell, since Top Gun, he has had some phenomenal success. For example, his co-written and lead performance in Hitman. And there's also the sequel to the original movie Twisters, really raising the stakes there. And he's also going to be leading a Stephen King novel adaptation called The Running Man, which is currently in post production.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like the timing for this project would be perfect for him.
Totally.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like he's right at the cusp of just like launching his career. And I feel like James Gunn, I mean, he's a great director. And I feel like if he picks Glenn Powell for this role, or whoever, I mean, honestly, whoever he picks for this role, their career is gonna launch. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great. because whoever James Gunn picks for these roles, he obviously has great chemistry with and he likes to work with. And because of that, that's why these actors are able to give such top notch performances because he has a vision and he has a vision that both he and the actors that he picks align with. So they're able to work together and make something awesome.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I feel like um, I think that kind of goes unnoticed sometimes, like the dynamic and the um, like relationship between the director, writer, producer, and the people who are on screen. You know, you could have like the most talented actor in the world, whoever that may be, but if they don't really like believe in what the vision is, and they don't align with the people working on it, then you're not going to get as good of a product as you can. And we've seen like James Gunn hiring uh, people from like Marvel movies that he's done into like the DC movies that he's done. You know, he's working with people that he's worked with before, and I feel like that um, is a really promising for like what he wants from the movie and his vision for it and how they work it out. Because I just think it's a really important aspect for making a film and making a project like this.
Yeah, 100%. In just a few more honorable mentions, Dave Franco,
Mm,
he'd
yeah,
be pretty good.
it'd be pretty good. Yeah.
Also, Zach Efron.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of. Well, I feel like Zac Efron would be pretty good in the role, but I have not heard anybody mention his name
Oh,
for the
really?
casting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like he'd be pretty cool.
I think it'd be great.
Josh Hutcherson,
Mm, yeah,
Peeta.
yep, yep, yeah, that's right. Uh huh. He would be pretty cool.
You're gonna like this one,
Okay.
Bo Burnham.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, dude. That would kind of be that'd be kind of sick, honestly. Yeah, I watched a ton of Bo Burnham for a while, especially like during the pandemic. I was a
Mhm.
huge fan of Bo Burnham. Yeah, he would be really cool in that role.
Yeah, another social media personality that a lot of people want, Smosh's own Shane Top.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Shane Top would be kind of good in this role. I feel like the people that have been mentioning his name, some of the people who said his name are like mentioning it like ironically or as a joke.
Hmm.
But he does have like history in Hollywood. You know, he's been a part of project. He was in the Goldbergs. He was on our Carly, which I was watching a ton when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, honestly, and I feel like he fits like the prototype of that character a lot.
Yeah, no, I feel like that would be a really interesting pick, but I think he's capable. I think he can do it.
I think so too, and it would bring a fan base that they don't really get very often. I feel like, or like at least like the age range, like kind of our age, a little younger and a little older
Mhm.
too. I feel like that would kind of attract a lot of people to the movie, the show.
Yeah. Although, I mean, hopefully a movie later on.
Yeah.
And one point that I want to make as well, I feel like whoever they like picked second for this, because an example I want to make, Nicholas Holt, the guy that played Lex Luthor, he initially tried out for Superman, but then was ultimately given the role of Lex Luthor because they thought he fit the role better. So I want to give a similar instance where, let's say, the guy who they pick second for Booster Gold, they should pick him to play the Flash.
Ooh, that would be really cool.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
one point I want to make, we have never had a live action blonde Flash on screen.
Wow, that is weird to think about.
Where is he? Bring him back.
Yeah, dude, yeah, I think that would be really cool. Like you mentioned, like they did that with uh, Superman and Nicholas Holt playing Lex Luthor, and I feel like that did add like a an extra element to that movie, and it kind of like made me enjoy his character more. Having like, I
Mhm.
mean, the guy who was second to the guy who is Superman, playing the role of the guy who's bitter that Superman is getting all this love and praise, and
Yep.
he's not. Like it kind of it's perfect. It just writes itself, and it adds another dynamic to the show. So to the movie, I'm mixing them up, but yeah, I think that if they added whoever they have the second for Booster Gold to be the Flash, I think that could be really cool.
Yeah. And Just really quick, also, speaking of Flash, Reverse Flash. I want to bring this up because I saw a fan casting of him and I thought I thought the casting was just phenomenal. Homelander from The Boys, Anthony Starr as Reverse Flash, the
Wow.
world's biggest hater.
That could be great, man. Yeah, I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, dude. I feel like he'd be able to just have that hater energy so much.
Hater of the Year award.
Yeah, dude. Him and Lex Luthor would destroy the world.
Oh, dude.
I mean, Lex nearly did.
Yeah, yeah, bro. I want to see the text messages between Lex and Reverse Flash. That would be we talking about some crazy shit.
But yeah, I would say that wraps up our video for Booster Gold today. What would you say, CJ?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we got a pretty good discussion there. A lot of good ideas to throw around. I feel like there's a lot of really good stuff that they could do with this show. And I really hope that, you know what? No, I'm certain that it will get greenlit past the pilot. It will.
Yeah, I completely agree. I couldn't see this being just a one off thing. I think that they're definitely going to evolve this into something big,
Yeah.
and I'm really looking forward to it. You know, it is still a little ways away, so we're going to be getting some more updates, and we're going to be learning some more new things in the future about what is going to entail with the show. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. If you made it this far, please, if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about, put it down in the comments. We'd love to talk about it. Drop a like, hit that sub button. We would really appreciate it. We're trying to grow a nice community here. So, yeah, this has been today's episode of the Sci-Fly Zone. Please tune in next time. See you guys.